Hey, it's Whitney, and today I want to talk about energetic healing for the times when you just don't feel like you fit in. And you might be wondering why in the heck I'm talking about this as an adult, because it usually happens when we're growing up in childhood and we're feeling like we just don't fit in with the clique. But I'm going to tell you, as an intuitive, sensitive soul who you're probably an empath or have empathic tendencies, as you shift your vibration and you move through in your spiritual growth, there's going to be times where you just don't feel like you fit in with your family or with your friends or in your business anymore. And so I want to address that. So when we have these, sometimes we can't even put words to it, but it's the feeling of, I'm going to show up and nobody's going to like me. Or you might be hearing what other people are talking about and you just don't really care. You're like, I'm trying to care, I'm trying to connect with this individual, and for some reason, I just can't seem to like it. Or maybe you are trying to connect with a certain person that you want to like and you just can't vibe with them. With that being said, there's more literal symptoms where you feel like you cannot be your authentic self, or you say words and people just stare at you like, aliens, like, what? I didn't understand anything that came out of your mouth, or who are you to think these things, or they don't know how to respond to it. Maybe you're going, I just feel like I don't belong anywhere. Maybe you feel like you don't belong with the state that you're in or the country that you're in. And when you look around to see where you would feel called to move, you don't feel any excitement there either. So let's talk about what that can be like. So one, knowing that it can literally be that your vibration has increased, that you have elevated your vibration, and you're going through a transition. Now, for my students who are inside of aligned, I talk about the cycle of alignment is always a spiral moving up and up and up. It never really ends. Even when we pass over into the spirit world, we are still elevating ourselves and moving and growing and learning. And really, truly on the soul purpose level, we're trying to get closer to source, trying to get closer to that universal being of love that we are. So as we're growing, as we're learning, sometimes we get the same lessons at a different level. And you might be going, but I felt like this when I was a kid, or I felt like I was like this when I was in my 20s, or why am I experiencing this again? That's because it's the same stuff on a different level. Oftentimes, it is an indication that you are transitioning. You are elevating your vibration. You're in a transition cycle. And when you're in a transition cycle, you're starting to notice, I don't vibe with the things around me anymore. The TV shows, the music I used to like, the people that I'm close to, I just can't really connect when I'm trying to have a conversation. So understanding that your vibration is moving. Now, a lot of people get really freaked out with this and they say, you know what? I don't want this. I don't want the people around me to change. I don't want my environment to change. I'm just gonna not grow. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. And so the people who don't grow just never make it to the embodiment phase of the cycle. And so understanding that change and spiritual growth is a natural part of who we are. We're here to learn different lessons. We're here to soak in information. And then once we're done, we're ready to graduate to that next level. Now, that does not mean that you're leaving the people that have been with you for years in the dust. It does mean, though, that the way that you connect with them may change. Maybe it's gotten better. Maybe you are still really wanting them to be a part of your lives, but it's time to meet other people who get a different side of you or who understand you and can support you in the new growth that you've had, especially with your intuition, especially with your connection to your spirit guides. And as you move forward, walking your life path authentically and abundantly as well. So understanding that sometimes, yes, truly, it is the place that you are living in, you have served that purpose. You are ready to move on to meet other people. Maybe it happens in relationships and friendships as well, where you're saying, you know what? I feel like our connection is complete, or I still really love this person and I still want to connect with them, but I know that it's time to open up my energy even wider to receive more people in alignment with my new vibration. Now, another reason that you might feel like you just don't fit in is because you are in transition, and transition does not feel safe and comfy. It feels like, oh my gosh, I'm at a different level. I don't know where I fit, because you're not at the next plateau. So if you could think of it like, here's the plateau, here's me climbing, here's another plateau. When we're in transition, it feels uncomfortable because it's almost like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall. Or, oh my gosh, I've not been here before. I'm in the unknown. I'm in a place where I'm really vulnerable right now because I'm shedding my skin. If you can think about crustaceans, let's talk about a crab, or actually, I don't know if crabs do this. So let's talk about lobster. Or you could talk about, hermit crabs. I used to have one. So I'm growing, I need to find a new shell. And in the phase of I'm finding my new shell, or I'm growing and transition, it's this vulnerable place where it's like, now I'm not protected. I don't know anything. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I need to process stuff. And so understanding that it can be vulnerability. You're feeling like, I just don't know myself because I'm redefining my self-identity as I'm growing and shifting. And then also understanding that it doesn't really feel comfortable in transition. But I do want to say, please embrace the transition. Sometimes we try to speed our cycle up so fast that we end up at the next level and we don't even know what to do with ourselves. So let's embrace transition. It's usually a time of healing. It's usually a great time to give yourself space. So maybe you feel like you should be extroverted, or you should, talk to lots of people. And in fact, perhaps what your energy and your body really needs is rest and more of the introversion of, I'm going to receive. I'm just going to allow myself to integrate into whatever it is. So understanding that that's part of it. Now, another big reason that you feel like you don't fit in is because you might need to be working on your worthiness. This comes up a lot for my Intuition Abundance Academy students as they're really elevating their vibration and they're connecting with their spirit guides and their intuition, and they're ready to move forward into that next higher level. The worthiness pops up. And so when we have worthiness issues, it's I'm not good enough. People aren't going to like me. They're not going to like the real me. I can't be myself because there's no way I could make money at that. Or I can't be my real self. Nobody would really get me or understand. First and foremost, there are people out there that will get you. I promise. And that's why I love to create a community of people for really connection. So if you haven't joined our free Facebook group, Spiritual and Ambitious, please do. And you can go to messengerspirit.com/group. But aside from that, knowing that it's important to find a support system. So understanding that while you're in transition, you might not have that support in place just yet. And knowing that as you become more confident in your new vibration, those people will appear. And as you're looking and talking to your spirit guides to help create opportunities for you to meet people more in alignment with you and your vibrational rates, then you will see those opportunities come through in a thought. Maybe somebody mentions it, maybe in a Facebook ad, maybe through an email, whatever it is, to help you really start to reach out a little bit more. So understanding that sometimes it's our own worthiness because we're trying to redefine our self-identity. Understanding that, yes, you can make money with your life purpose, whatever that is. Everyone is unique and different. We all come in with different archetypes. And understanding that you truly are here to live your life abundantly, and you can really feel into your purpose because life is not meant to be lived the majority of the time in a place or a situation that you can't stand. I truly believe that we're here to live it abundantly, but sometimes it takes us a little while to understand what it is that we love to do. So understanding that, yes, you can do that. Now, when you start to truly say, this is me, I'm authentic, I'm connecting to my spirit guides. I talk to dead people. I talk to spirit guides all the time. I talk to my loved ones who've passed, and I make decisions for my intuition. When you're doing that, the people around you, if they're not used to it, may not like it. What I will say is that's, again, why it's important to find a community that does support you. Also understanding that you don't need their permission to be who you are. And that is a big one. Let's all take a big sigh of relief. Breathe in and breathe out. We do not need that. So one of the things for me is I was scared. I understood that I love talking to spirit, so it was like not a secret to my parents, because as a child, I loved talking to spirit or reading topics about this. So I didn't really know how, but I did it anyway, and I kind of was like, let's watch these movies or let's read these books. And so as I started to move and talk about this, as I, talk to the world about it, it was like, oh, that person's weird. Oh, and I realized it was like this taboo topic. So as I started to really grow, I thought, you know what? I'm going to kind of hide it, which led me into a path where I couldn't stay in my job. I didn't like the people that were around me, and nobody really got me, and I just couldn't be myself, and I got health issues. I felt burnout, health issues, really my energy was closed. So when I finally started to say, this is who I am, I talk to spirit, and I connect to my intuition, and by the way, I'm going to start a business talking to spirit. As I did that, people around me questioned me. Is this okay? Is this like good? Is this bad? Like, are you sure? Who are you talking to? All those kinds of questions came up. But the more that I was my authentic self and that I communicated who I was to people, I also got to teach people about who I was, but I also attracted people that got me and who were similar in my vibrational rate. So the more that you actually talk about it, the more positive information, the more positive results you're going to get from it. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have some negative ones, because that does happen. But the more you are who you are, the more people will be connected, because one, you're giving them permission too to be themselves. Not that they need it, but it's helpful to be validated. And also you will not hide anything. So there's no secrets. So people know who you are and will say, yeah, I like this person, or no, not for me. So energetic healing for all these things. One, I'd love for you to connect in with your solar plexus. Really put your hands over your solar plexus if you're Reiki attuned or energy attuned. And if you're not, you can just ask your spirit guides to come through and deliver some energetic healing into the solar plexus. Now, when I really work on my solar plexus, sometimes I will feel some bubbles in my stomach. Sometimes I'll start craving lemon or ginger. And also sometimes we release. And sometimes when we release, it's a crying, it can be a cleansing. And this really helps. And if you've got any of those flippy flop kind of like nerves in the stomach, this can help calm them. So putting your hands over your solar plexus, you can visualize white light moving into that. You can also feel the heat coming from your hands and imagining that heat is energy moving into the solar plexus and helping to shift and change it. Also, I'd love for you to say, I give myself permission to be my authentic self. And say this as an affirmation. I give myself permission to be my authentic self. I know one of my students, Denise, has really stepped more into her authenticness by really understanding, you know what, these other stories that other people had from abundance, from how they viewed the world, is their story. So she really got to understand, this is who I am and this is my story. And affirmations were so helpful. I know my other student, Beth, also was just talking about how affirmations were so powerful for her. So affirmations work in so many ways, because when you say them, you're saying them on a mental level. When you say them with feeling, you're doing it on an emotional level. And when you say this and you're truly believing it and you're feeling it, it helps you in that spiritual direction, and your body perks up as well, versus like this. So it's like, yes, I am giving myself permission to be my authentic self. And then you can experiment too and say, I am my authentic self, if you'd like as well. So energy healing, solar plexus. You could also drink some lemon ginger water or tea if that's something that your doctor says is okay and it doesn't interfere with any other supplements or medications or conditions. You also can say it out loud with your affirmations. I give myself permission to be my authentic self. And also, I would love for you to invite your spirit guides in and talk to your spirit guides about what's going on and ask them for healing. You can ask them for astral travel or for information, and ask them for opportunities to help you find others who are similar to your vibrational rate. And then my fourth tip as well is to find that community. And I right now am talking about our free community that we have, which is messengerspirit.com/group. And I'd love to see you inside our spiritual and ambitious community, so you can ask questions to the community, you can talk about spiritual, intuitive kind of things. And you know what? It's normal in our group. I think it's normal, but other people might not. In our group, it is totally normal. So understanding that we accept you, we welcome you as well. All right, so those are some tips to help you as you move through. And the last tip that I just wanted to share too is give yourself grace, give yourself time to integrate, and understand that it is most likely just you changing your energetic frequency as you're up-leveling to your next level. All right, I hope to see you inside of our group. And for now, hope that you are staying connected to your intuition and your guides.